Hi, friends. I'm Richa Khandelwal Bhatt. Welcome to my podcast, The Creative Yogi. Today, I wanted to talk about the subject of identity. The question of identity basically means who am I? What do I represent? What am I the best at? What do I want the world to know me as? Basically, who am I and how do I represent myself to this world on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp? How do I want people to see me as? And now more than ever before, it's really important to all of us as to how the world sees us, right? So I felt that this is a question that I had really been troubled with while I was choosing my career, and how I solved this problem was very interesting, and I wanted to share with y'all, and hoping that this would be information that may help some of you out there who are listening. So, growing up, my parents took me to a lot of classes. I used to be taken to dance class and swimming class and basketball class and art class, and I was in theater, and I was in acting, I was in public speaking, I was in singing, you name it, and I did it. And I was also, growing up, I also became a traveler. Then I got married, and I am also a mom now. So there's just too many things that were playing into my everyday choice of how I spend my time and how do I carry myself, knowing that I have so many things about me and I do not know my own identity. I do not know what do I represent, what do I stand for, what am I supposed to do? Because unless you know what you're supposed to do, how would you do what you're supposed to do? So, as a filmmaker, I'll talk about how we write screenplays. So, before we write screenplays, the first thing we need to do is define characters. We need to first define who are the main characters. So, somebody very wise said that screenplays are about three things: character, character, character. Similarly, in our life, we are also about the most important subject of how do we identify ourselves in this world. What is the character that we give to ourselves in our mind? It's so important. It's so important. Say for me, being a mom is the top thing, and then rest everything else follows. Or for somebody, it could be being an entrepreneur. For somebody else, it could be that I want the world to know me and remember me as a director, whatever it may be. So, that identification of that identity is not an easy task because a lot of us may not be too talented at something but still have the talent. You know, what is it that they call the jack of all trades and master of none? Well, that's a very nice feeling to be, knowing that you're good at so many things and you're good here, you're good there, but it's in your heart you're being eaten by that thought that you're not the best at anything. And that's really troublesome because, say, somebody is a great writer. So they just write, 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 write. But when people like me who have multiple gifts in smaller doses, the problem is that when you start writing, you're remembering dancing. When you're dancing, you think about shooting something. When you're shooting, you're remembering that you have to go home and bake something. I wrote out one day in my office all the skills that I had. And that included driving and doing makeup, dressing up, or even staying really managed. So I wrote down every possible skill I had. And I had a list of about 46 of them, I remember. And that included the ability to play basketball, all kinds of things. So the skills I had, and I wrote down. Now, the question was to identify what's my top identity. And my top identity or my main identity would come from my purpose in life. And I personally felt that maybe my purpose in life is to be a happy yogi. I wanted to be a person who's on the path of a seeker's path, on the path to discover the source of life and the meaning of life and connect to the divine and so on. But I also wanted to be living happily. I did not want it to be all full of tears and struggle and I wanted to be happy and content, because if I'm happy, I can spread that in the world. And then I also wanted to be creative, because I feel that that's what makes me really alive, to be able to juggle things, to be able to mix things, to be able to make the most out of nothing, so on. So I had my goals set out for me. So for me, money was and money is a good term. It sounds really good, but it was never, touch wood, it was never a big priority. Similarly, how many people are following me, or how much love do I get from the social media, never really bothered me much. So my goal was not that. And everybody's different. Your goals could be totally different. So my goal was to be happy at the end of the day. I just wanted to be happy, content, and be a yogi, be on the path of spiritual seeking, and follow the path of Bhagavad Gita, and just keep doing what I want to do happily. So I wrote out, and out of those skills, the identity that I derived at ultimately came from this process. First, I struck off all those things that I thought I was good at growing up, but when I actually, I delved deep in, I realized, well, I was not good at them really, and I knew it in my heart that I was okay at them, not really too good at them. Then I struck off those things that I did not want to continue, because at the time I did this, I was 30, 32, and I realized that, well, I'm not getting any younger. So there may be things that I may not be able to do, let's say 4 or 5 years from now, as conveniently. So then why should I put my time at something that I will not be able to carry on for very long? Give a lot of time. I mean, it can be a fun thing, but not necessarily my main identity thing, because I may not be able to carry it for a longer time. Then I was left with few skills. And then I felt, okay, now I have to choose between, let's say, being an entrepreneur, filmmaker, or a dancer, or public speaker, or whatever it is. And out of those skills, I just meditated, and I thought that, hey, you know what? The ultimate goal is to do whatever I do to the best of my ability. So my top thing became that thing that I wanted to be damn good at, and that thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, that thing that will make me super duper happy. That thing may take me forever to achieve, but the path to doing that work would be so joyful that even if it takes my whole life to get there, it would be worth it. So then I chose the idea of being an entrepreneur in the field of entertainment, and then also involving social work in it, and then the whole idea of a social entrepreneur in the entertainment business came forth. So by being flexible about the whole idea of identity and allowing myself that creative space to redefine myself and fine-tune that idea of identity, which is actually an ongoing journey and an ongoing discovery. By being kind to myself and allowing, the identity to really reveal itself, rather than boxing it in any label of being a filmmaker or being an entrepreneur or being a so-and-so or being a so-and-so. I'm just trying to take those top 4 or 5 things that I love to do from the 46 that I had made a list of. Taking those 4 or 5 things and then trying to give each one of them that respect that it deserves, because it's there in my life as a gift and I need to honor it. And also giving sufficient time to each of my skill sets while not losing the bigger picture in mind. I think I've come to a space where the whole idea of identity has become central to my life and to my life's purpose. And I think that as I go, I'm just focusing on doing my work one day at a time. And the famous shloka of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, shloka 47, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuhu ma te sangotsva karmani. We've all heard it. So I'm just doing my duty and offering all of my work to God and hope that it will be put to good use, and shutting my mind off of any thoughts of what is the result I'm achieving, or what's going to come of it, or am I getting anywhere, or hey, it's getting late, I better be doing something concrete, or doing anything that distracts me from this central idea of performing my karma as per my identity. So, like a barber must cut hair, and a farmer must do farming, and a writer must write, a photographer must take photos, a singer must sing. The task that we do every day, or the work we do every day, comes from our identity. Who are we? And therefore, that defines what must we be doing every day. And for me, that discovery has been a very interesting process, which is still ongoing. And I'm pretty sure that in days to come, it will reveal itself when the sculptor, chips away the unwanted parts of the stone that he's sculpting. Then the sculpture reveals itself. Similarly, I feel that by giving my life, which is like a block of stone, to God, who is the sculptor, and let him do the work and carve out my identity over time, over the days, through every day of doing the work and not worrying about the result, and trying to focus more and more and more on what is it that I love to do, and that makes me truly happy, and that makes me truly alive. I think I'm discovering who I may be, who I'm meant to be, and who I'm really able to identify with. And I think that's where life is taking me on this path to living a fulfilled and content every day as I go. So this is what I wanted to share. I hope it's of some good somewhere, and I hope it makes sense. If you liked what you heard, or if you could connect with what I said, please do reach out to me on my email ID, which is richa@keshavaproductions.com. And I would love to hear from you. And I also have my LinkedIn page and my Facebook pages, which is where I'm really active. I look forward to hearing from you. And I hope that you would tune in to the next podcast that I would be coming out with very soon. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.